From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Morning Line with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. Nick Barris here on a Tuesday. Maybe it feels a little like a Monday. It's going to be a short work week, isn't it? Since we just had the long 4th of July holiday. I hope you had a good and safe one, and we're back at it live with you this morning. A lot to talk about here in the great city of Nashville. Just yet another spectacular fireworks show. What did they say? The tally was 350,000 people or so downtown. I was not among them, but I know that a lot of people came down. A lot of people from out of state came just to celebrate. So 4th of July, and a lot of news coming out of it, a lot of things we can talk about this morning. That and more about this great city with our regular visit from the Vice Mayor, Jim Shulman. Good morning, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Nice to see you.
I recovered through the 4th of July weekend. A lot of stuff happened over the 4th of July.
I think some people keep more busy than others. But what does the Vice Mayor do for the 4th of July festivities? It all started with you on Thursday judging some hot chicken contest back here. I know Talk of the Town did a segment at the farmers market, and these were, was it like an amateur contest?
Yeah, there was an amateur competition, and for some reason, ever since it started, the Vice Mayor, I think it's written into the charter, probably needs to be taken out. The Vice Mayor judges the amateur hot chicken contest. Someone has to do it, Nick. There were 5 judges. I was one of them, and I survived.
Was it good stuff?
It was very good.
Yeah.
I thought there were, again, six cooking competitors. They were all very, very good. I do not eat a lot of hot chicken. Yeah. So there's a lot of preparation that goes involved to judging. And then you have to sit there and people bring you hot chicken and you eat it.
Yeah, and that's not a bad gig being a judge, actually. People bringing you delicious food. But you said the key was pineapple?
Someone at the farmer's market, a friend of mine who owns one of the art store, said you should get some pineapple. And it's like, no one told me. So she went and found some for me, and it serves as a cutter in between eating the hot chicken.
Okay.
And then I went to the Hot Chicken Festival on the 4th of July. And you would have thought that I would have learned my lesson on Thursday, but I ate some more hot chicken. But they had peaches cut up and watermelon that also served as a cutter.
Makes sense. And that's been going on since Bill Purcell started that, the mayor, did he not?
He is responsible, I think, for all of this. This international
loves hot chicken. Well, yeah, and look at now, Nashville hot chicken's world renowned.
Yeah, and I think it was all because of, well, it started with Prince's Hot Chicken.
Yeah.
And then you had Bolton's, and then you had so many more. But I think it was Mayor Purcell who started this whole thing, and he would have been smart to have somehow gotten a share of it before it just took off.
Yeah, I did.
But it's internationally known, and I was, again, at the Hot Chicken Festival on the 4th of July, and there were thousands and thousands of people.
Well, there were a ton of people everywhere, and, downtown. What is your take? We're going to get into some of the details in a moment, which you say you've learned more about, the incident involving some fireworks and the SWAT team and the helicopter and someone in the bridge building. But the crowd in general, I think they ended up with about 350,000 was the final tally?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I know it's been reported, but obviously somebody decided to try to watch the fireworks from the bridge building downtown.
Tell us what the bridge building is. Again, I mean, I'm familiar with it, but people were wondering, okay, the bridge building, what is that? Is that a public, private? And where is it located again?
It's right next to the pedestrian bridge.
Yeah, right.
You can see it
if you're there.
Yeah, if you're at Nissan Stadium and let's say you're on the riverside of it, which is where they shoot the fireworks off of. If you look to the left, you can look at the pedestrian bridge. There's a building kind of built into the bridge.
I see that when you walk past. Is that something, is there anything in there, or is it something that people rent for activities, weddings, parties, things like that?
So I don't know for sure who actually owns it, but you can rent it. So I've been in there several times for meetings, and I'm not exactly sure who's in there right now, but what I understand is that an employee, somebody who worked in that building, decided that was going to be a good place to watch the fireworks.
Which it would be, actually,
Which it would be, but you're not supposed to be in it because it's too close to where the fireworks go off. So it's one of those areas that is actually kind of assume the proper word would be banned. You're not supposed to be in that area.
So the fire marshal who makes that call has the right on the situation like this for safety purposes to say, even though, yes, I know this is a private building, but you are in the blast zone, so we're going to put a requirement that it has to be vacant for the festivities, and then back to normal. But they have the power over a private entity to say, look, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
Out.
It's not safe to be in there just in case something happens.
So there was a delay starting the fireworks show, I know, for a period, and it was because of this, right? So someone saw someone on the roof of the building. It was reported, so all right, well, we have to go and get them out of there first to play it safe.
Well, so with all the stuff that happens today, you have to take every precaution. So if you've got people up on the roof of a building like that, that required the SWAT team to come in, and they also brought in a helicopter to see what was going on, because you don't know what they're up there for. They're not supposed to be there, so the police had to be called in. I think security was called in to find out, or to get somebody to open up the door. I know the police had been looking to try to figure out if somebody was in it. I think they saw somebody. Instead of letting the police in, the people ran and hid. It created, I guess, a commotion over there. Police got in, cleared the building, but somehow the security guard said he was the last one in the building, even though we still had police in the building.
Right, so he walks out, says to someone, I'm the last one, it's good, and then it's reported, and without, according to Don Aaron, having anyone check with command, the fire marshal gets word, and they clear the way to start blasting the fireworks. And when you think about it, just I mean, thank goodness. You know, and you don't want to make it more than it was, but can you imagine a fireworks show like this that is actually being observed nationwide online, a crowd of 350, if God forbid something had happened with a firework hitting and that copter coming down?
Well, so,
or if someone was, I mean, that would have been catastrophic on so many levels, not the least of which, of course, for the poor people in the helicopter. Didn't happen. Maybe that's extreme to even talk about this, but that's what you're trying to avoid by clearing. Can you imagine?
It's a fireworks show.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
So it's done for people's entertainment. World's largest, country's largest, whatever the Convention Bureau says. So there's a lot of money put into it, but it's a fireworks to celebrate, you know, our independence. And somehow because the communications got off, we had people, what I would say would be in harm's way.
Yeah.
So you had the helicopter. I think they realized as soon as that first one went up, they needed to get out of there.
They were okay.
But then the police officers that we had in the bridge building had to take cover just in case. Everybody's safe. We got through it.
The vehicle's up top. You saw some of the debris, and there were chunks that come down. Yeah. You wouldn't want to get hit in the head by one of those, but it didn't do much damage to them. And those vehicles are rough and rugged. But it was all just precautionary, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, you take all the, you keep everybody out of harm's way.
Yep.
Again, it's fireworks. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. So you clear out the area, and we had a situation where somebody violated that space. Police came in like they were supposed to clear out the space, but the communication was wrong in the sense that everything is clear. And I talked to Chief Drake yesterday at the police department, and he said, hey, from now on, everything has to go through some type of central command. Nick, I think it's maybe as simple as just making sure it's written down, what the protocols are, and then before an all clear is done to shoot off those fireworks, you have to check with every single department, whoever's involved in this, police, fire, OEM, whatever. Everybody has to say all clear. And that didn't happen, and that's why it happened that way. We got lucky again.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, you know, you think about all the things we've been through. We've been pretty fortunate overall. I know some people have lost their lives. You know, you talk about the tornado last year, we lost 2 people. Looking at the damage, it could have been much, much worse.
Right. Well, same thing with the Christmas Day bombing.
I mean,
could
have been much worse.
If he had been someplace else, yeah. Could have. One thing that's got me on this is, too, I guess the SWAT team then did go in and were able to remove 4 or more people from the place. No words of any arrests, and I'm not saying necessarily just, I'm not one of these people, just arrest them left and right. But I want to know, was there a misunderstanding here? You know, the building's big and vacant, and if it's a new employee who thinks this is a neat place to watch the fireworks from, which I agree probably would have been, And they go in there and it's locked up and it's pitch black and you're new maybe, and well, you didn't know, but no one else is there. And then if you believe it was police that said this, they knocked on it when they saw them, and instead of coming and letting them in and saying what's going on, they ran off. I'd like to know why no one's been arrested. Because that, to me, is a problem. Now, maybe we don't know the whole story, and there may be more to it, and if there is, then fine. We'll understand why there was a misunderstanding. But to me, if they're in there, it's one thing if they just didn't realize it and say, okay, let's get you out of here, you'll be all right. But it's another thing if SWAT's knocking, you see them, and they take off instead of coming. That's where my problem is, and that was from police. Maybe they would have a different story, but my guess is that it's not done yet. Don Aaron said that there's still the investigation. They know who these people are, and I don't know that it's a major transgression, but certainly, you know, send the message. This was just stupid.
Well, you know, I know overall, particularly if you have the chief on, if you have other people on, there's an effort being made citywide, countrywide, to decrease the number of arrests.
Yeah, and I understand
we're trying
that.
not to do as much of that. And I mean,
well, and what I mean best, I don't mean lock them up. Yeah. Give them a fat citation. You know what? You were trespassing. You didn't open the door. Here, $350. Pay it. You know, I mean, something like that. Hit them in their pocketbook. Well, whatever, just to send the message. This was stupid, and you should have come when police knocked on the door. If that's the way it played out, maybe we'll hear the other side. And if those individuals say, we didn't know who it was, it scared us, we didn't realize it. Fair enough. But yeah, I'm not saying lock them up for something like this. That's absurd. But,
well, but we'll,
you know
we'll see what happens.
Doing nothing is kind of like, well, fine, do it again next year. No big deal.
Well, fortunately, again, you look at the end result of it all, everybody's safe. We didn't have anybody hurt. We got lucky. But from here on out, I think what you have to do is you have to make sure that those protocols are very clear, and that we do not start shooting off hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fireworks when you've got particularly our police department in harm's way. You don't do that.
It was really a perfect storm as we go to the break, because I'm thinking with 350,000 people, they've been waiting till it gets dark. And then the delay. There was pressure to start this thing. Now, I'm not saying someone said, well, to heck with them, let's start it anyway. But 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes later, and you're like, oh, when can we do this? And there's probably people saying, hey, are we going to start this or what? And then finally get this report that, oh, it's all clear, and they don't run it through command, and they say, oh, it's all clear, let's go, finally. Maybe that's what it was. It's just all these elements together. But yeah, the chief's right. Should just go through general command just to double check everyone. Just wait
a few more minutes.
You hit it on the head, my friend. We were lucky.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that things went off, and I think it was a success that night. We'll take a break. When we come back, we can take some of your phone calls if you have a question or comment for the Vice Mayor, 737-7587. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to you with more of our conversation right after this.